So Matthew, from earlier this morning, sort of preempted this talk a little bit right at the end when he started to talk about the relationship between the practitioner and the client and how that is actually of the most benefit, not specifically on the therapy that you're doing. But a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today is, as the title suggests, is highlighting that we are in fact the same as our clients. And we are the same in that we are all different, but what this workshop is going to be about is suggesting that a lot of what we're supporting our clients to go through and supporting them to be able to deal with their issues and the things that are going on for them is also a process that we can go through. So I have a premise that unless we have dealt with the issue that the client is presenting with, we're actually unable to support the client with that same issue. So if let's say for example we've got maladaptive behaviours with eating, and a client comes to us to support us to help them understand why they have maladaptive behaviours with eating, we're actually not truly going to be able to support them unless we've actually dealt with our own patterns ourselves. So everything that I'm talking about is never about saying separating clinician from client, but is actually saying we are exactly the same as our client. And if you are working with a client and they're a person that feels judged, or if you're a person that feels judged, do you feel motivated to want to work with that person? Typically the answer would be no, we don't want to work with somebody who we're feeling judged by. So a lot of what we're looking at here is going, well, how do we work with ourselves while working with clients and seeing them as an equal as us? So therefore, as a result, they're not feeling judged, they feel equal to us in the way that they present the world. But before I go into the specific details of all of that, I work, my clinic is Fabic, and I'm probably the luckiest out of all of us in location because I'm actually 2 minutes down the road from here. So I've had the least amount of travel out of everybody. But Fabic is a behavioural specialist centre, and we support people to understand and change unwanted behaviour. And that phrase goes from, as I call it, short people to tall people. So I work with people, last week I had a client come in that was 22 months of age, and then my following client after that was a person who was 78 years of age. And so we work across the span with all people who are using a behaviour that they would prefer not to be using. And if I ask you all to be honest, who of you are using a behaviour you'd prefer not to be using? Is it all of us? Yeah. And one of the issues that we have with changing behaviour is that a lot of society focuses just on changing behaviour. Whereas if you see a lot of our logo says it's actually about understanding and then changing behaviour. So it's really important to not focus on changing behaviour without actually understanding why the behaviour is happening. So everything that we're doing with our clients is understanding that all behaviour is happening for a reason. And for me, it's never ever about judging behaviour. And as my clients always sit down, I'm saying to them, look, I don't care what behaviours you're going to tell me you're using, because I know those behaviours are not you. Those behaviours are just the coping mechanisms that you have to cope with life, and life in a way that you don't completely feel equipped to manage. So one of the things that we're doing is connecting with people for who they are first and not judging them or identifying by their behaviours. And the way that I connect with a person is knowing that we're all the same, in that at the core of all of us, we're all awesome, amazing, lovable beings. And that's how we're all the same. Nobody is different. However, we're not always using amazing behaviours, but we are always, no matter what behaviours we're using, we're always amazing.